We're back for round 7, the penultimate round of the Seattle Regional Championships. On your left, we have Tim Skalland playing, I believe, Fighting Crobat. And on your right, we have Mia Violet. Not sure what she's playing, but willing to bet that it involves Dusknoir. Do you know what Mia's playing, Amelia?
I don't.
So we'll see.
I know that, like, last tournament or something she was at, she didn't play Dusknoir.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. She did not do it for Dusknoir last time, but we'll see here.
Looks like a Crobat.
Yeah, discarding a Crobat and a Ultra Ball. He mulliganed a few times off camera, and we saw a bunch of strong energies and stuff, but didn't see anything too weird or indicative of a particularly interesting archetype. Just gonna go ahead and get a Lucario. Probably the wise choice versus an opponent playing a Keldeo. Finishing up. Lucario strong energy and passing the turn back. Not having any Zubats on turn 1 is unfortunate, but not a huge deal. Acrobike. And Mia didn't even shuffle to hide that she found an Acrobike off the Acrobike. Alright, and there's a Seismitoad. Oh, everything you'd ever want. Super Scoop Up? Oh man.
Well.
How savage. Roller skates.
Oh, roller skates, nice.
So it seems like Mia's just playing the kind of quad toad build. It's just running a bunch of basically 4 Seismitoad and then things like 4 laser, 4 roller skates, 4 acrobike, 4 some amount of bicycle.
Hammer.
Yeah, hammer is just.
Ooh, Jinx.
Yeah, she's running Jinx in this one. So yeah, basically just kind of the most kind of aggressive all-in Toad, I guess.
Yep.
You see if she has a laser here. No, doesn't look like it. Draw. She's just gonna go up to 50 damage. Although she does have plays, I guess she's considering. Oh, yep, there's the laser. Heads.
This draw, she's just gonna take a beating.
Yeah, no super scoop up. Where's scoop up cycling? Because of the Quaking Punch ability, so. What do you think of Jinx to you?
I think it's pretty good. Same idea as like Rough Seas, more or less. Just makes things like Landorus, even Manectric have a tougher time KOing the Seismitoads.
For sure. We said Tim with a really rough turn just passed, let the Jirachi get knocked out, and promoted as Lucario. Mia taking an aggressive route, attaching that DCE to the Keldeo. I guess it was going to get discarded off the Juniper.
Fine.
Attaching the DCE there also is very helpful. She is playing Dusknoir.
Yes.
It's helpful against. Okay. Sorry, I was going to say the Keldeo is helpful against Landorus too. It kind of dissuades Tim from playing a Landorus, though at this point. Oh.
Yeah.
Colorless for 3. Alright.
Man, yeah, this is just pretty underwhelming so far. Just a standard, can't draw anything.
And these players being X and 1 are not quite playing for top 8 because not all X and 2s will make it, but at 6 and 1, most of the 6 and 1 players will be able to draw in, so there will be some unlucky ones, I'm sure, who won't take the draw, but definitely an important round. And 3 cards.
Energy. He'll get to draw to 6, so I think that's a Juniper.
Yeah, he's not going to be knocked out this turn, regardless.
Yep.
Super Scoop Up. And here's one of the things that's just very frustrating about Toad. I actually wrote an article about this. Is that I don't think Toad's overpowered. I just think it's kind of too much.
Not fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustrating cards to play against. You have, like, Crushing Hammer is probably my least favorite card of all time.
Yeah, it's just like the combination of Crushing Hammer, Enhanced Hammer, Seismitoad, Scoop Up.
And even things like Roller Skates and N, like, just are annoying. Like, they make you feel bad, you know?
Yeah. Lots of feel bad cards.
Yeah. Now, if she just gets one more Jinx, it's equal to a Rough Seas, so. There's a Juniper.
And you have the Dusknoir to... Or there was another Dusknoir released, right?
Yeah, there was one that moves your damage counter, but she's playing the Sinister Hand one. Yep. It is relevant though because it is much harder for Tim to play bats down. Weakness policy on the Jinx. Weakness policy is an interesting one.
Yeah, I can see it swinging the Genesect matchup.
Yeah. There's a Landorus, but it's a dangerous game.
Helps against Executor too.
The weakness policy?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And Leafeon, actually. That's pretty good right now.
You just have to give up the muscle band, though, which is important.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure about benching the Zubat there. It's definitely just going to be knocked out.
Yeah, because Mia's going to go up, the Lucario is going to go up to 160 damage after the Verbank. And so Mia just needs it to be
and even if he
100.
Chooses to retreat the Lucario here, you may as well just KO the bat and continue attacking the active. I believe. Yeah,
certainly. You can, at the current board state now, you can KO the bat and then also KO the active with room to spare. Like, you can move other damage counters as well.
It does just choose to attack. I think I would have... no, I don't know. It's a pretty tough spot to be in. And Jinx is going to put it back out of any reasonable KO range.
Yeah. It's going to take... I mean, that just undid 3 damage counters. Like, that is a Rough Seas, and we were just talking about how good Rough Seas is. Obviously, Rough Seas can heal multiple Pokemon, so it is better, but Jinx is definitely relevant here. He misses the Roller Skates. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. I think Mia is definitely a better Dusknoir pilot than I am, but I think I just move 40 to the Zubat, knock it out, and then...
Well.
It seems strange that you would want to let that active Lucario stay alive, though.
Yeah, it actually has KO potential on the Seismitoad with the 100 attack. Also, she can just undo this if she decides not to, but...
Yeah, she could just be, like, figuring out what to do.
Okay.
Interesting. So... I'm not... So, there's...
I don't know. I'm baffled.
230 damage on board. Interesting.
She also doesn't have a Toad to respond with. I mean, I guess you assume she has it in her hand.
I mean, there is a huge thing to be said for keeping the damage around.
Yeah.
Like, I might have taken the knockout there, but like I said, Mia's much more educated with Dusknoir than I am, and Dusknoir is a card that you have to, you have to experience it, you have to practice, you have to get your reps in. there definitely is an advantage to having all that damage around and just being able to, over the next turn or two, manipulate it how you like. It looks like Tim just went ahead and scooped up a very incredibly early concession. The game was far from over. I'm not sure I really like seeing that.
Tim could have actually KO'd that Seismitoad that turn.
Yeah, very early. I think that a lot of the times you have, because there's such a focus on the time limit right now, that you have people conceding way earlier, being too worried about it, or trying to just be tricky, when most of the time I think, in game 1 or 2, most of the time you do not want to concede ever.
Well, especially 60 minutes.
Yeah, so 60 minutes just changes everything, but like there is something to be said for conceding to time constraints, but like he revealed that he had multiple supporters in hand, he had things going on, but I mean Mia will take it, basically a free win, didn't have to try super hard.
Yep.
And we've got Chase Maloney currently 6-0, basically locked for top 8, just needs a draw. Maybe doesn't even need a draw, starting 6-0. We've got Jacob Van Wagner at 5-1, looking for a win and a draw, or just a win to get his invite. I think Trevor Reed is sitting somewhere on X-1, just needing a win and a draw. A lot of big name players at the top tables. The biggest name player here, probably Ross Cawthon, is actually doing pretty poorly. Last I checked, he was 3-2, I think.
That's rough.
Yeah, he's sitting at
Tyler
4-2
also
right
doing
now.
Poorly.
Yeah, Tyler Namor at 3-3.
Trevor Reed is 4-2, which is.
Oh, I thought he was X-1. Serena Radu also falling to 3-3. So a lot of the top players here are not doing so hot.
Ross is 4-2.
Yeah. I mean, Ross can still make it in, and he can still also definitely have a good finish. He just.
I think David is also 4-2.
I thought David was X-1.
Pairings are all.
They're out of order, yeah.
Yeah, 4-2.
Oh, okay. Israel still sitting at 4-2 as well.
Lots of 4-2s.
Yeah, I love 4-2s. Interesting. A lot of the better players are sitting with the middling records. Will be really interesting to see which 6-1s make it in.
It's probably going to be like 1x2.
I don't know, because it's all of the calculators online can only calculate it based on there being no unintentional draws.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of unintentional draws in Pokemon, and so it's so difficult. And I'm sure that players who are much smarter than I am can determine which, by the last round pairings, can determine where you need to be, but I just don't know how to do that quite yet. Looks like Tim's gonna start us off with a pair of Bats and a Lucario, opposite a Seismitoad and Duskull. There's an energy and a band. Always good to see. Ultra Ball out of Tim, trying to get rid of all the items he can while he still can.
Yeah, this is a pretty powerful start for Tim.
Yeah, getting all the bats on the board, the energy with the tool as well. And Tim really just wants to use all of his items here, so I think it's even appropriate to, Ultra Ball for a Golbat or something. You just don't want to have items in your hand.
Yep.
Your deck versus Seismitoad. Tails on the roller skates. Tails on the Tails on the Hypnotoxic Laser. Ooh, and Mia just forced a pass. Wow.
Harsh.
We're gonna. Tim's debating to do 20. Yep, just 20 on the Seismitoad. So yeah, not a great start for me. I was really relying on that roller skates to get going. Acro bike from Tim, dropping out to Dene.
And this is why you don't see roller skates very often.
Yeah, it's a super, super swingy card. It's hard to, you know, there are some cards that are so powerful that they're worth the coin flip, and roller skates can be one of them, but roller skates is nowhere near the power of something like Crushing Hammer.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if, I know in the Quad Toad decks you can afford space for roller skates, but since Mia's playing Desknor, I might want to see that as some kind of supporter instead. I don't know what her list looks like.
Yeah, Mia is usually pretty thin on her Desknor line. It's usually like 1-1-1 or like 2-0-1 with one candy. So I don't think it hurts too much, but it definitely is a consideration to make. And Mia's going to have a few more turns here, but she needs to figure something out quickly. There's the draw. Was a random receiver. Okay, so I think the way that these decks are engineered is that she's going to hit a Sycamore or a Juniper.
Yeah.
Which she does pretty early in. So this can thrust her right back into the game. She, you know, Tim has an amazing start, just a very bad one, but the game's far from over. She's going to lose the Toad this turn unless she gets a super scoop up or something, but it's still anyone's match. And there's a super scoop up.
And the scoop ups are just super obnoxious.
It's still, you know, Tim's still far ahead. He has a Zubats and he has a Lucario up front with 2 energies on it, so he's still definitely ahead.
Yeah.
But that super scoop up's a big game. Looks like Mia considered getting the Keldeo there. Ultimately chose, I think, just looking through her deck, making sure everything's in there, and there's the Keldeo. And Keldeo actually is, like I said, very good versus Landorus. Like, serves a purpose of, you know, rushing in and retreating, but extra utility and just doing massive amounts of damage to Landorus, which Seismitoad can do as well, but not bad as a backup. There's the Sycamore. And there's the double colorless, but no way to retreat the Duskull at the moment. Oh, there's a Floaton on the Keldeo, so Mia's just really doing it.
Yep.
Muscle Band?
Jeez.
Am I seeing the Muscle Band? No, I don't think so.
That recover is just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, all it took me is that random receiver into Sycamore, you know, super scoop up, just insane plays. And again, one of the frustrating things about playing against Toad is just that, you know, even in a normal deck, so, you know, one that's not running super scoop ups and things, you can draw a supporter and then get out of it, but you're still going to lose your main attacker,
Yeah.
going to prizes, and this deck just undoes all of that. And like I said, Tim still has a good setup. You know, it's not as if he was just doing damage this whole time. You know, he's setting up his board as well, but
yeah, and it looks like he's actually going to be able to get the knockout here with Lucario's start attack. Assuming he has a Golbat assuming he has a Golbat. Or the Fighting Stadium.
No, he has the knockout now because he's doing 100 plus 60.
60, right?
Yeah, and then he has 30.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
He's slowly taking up damage from the poison damage, though, so that's going to be relevant if Mia can drop a Verbank soon, especially because he has 3 energy attached, 2 of which are the strong, so not resources you can really take lightly. There's another Acro Bike.
Unfortunately, he'll be able to take another knockout with Lucario next turn, assuming it's not going to be knocked out right now.
He'll still need something else.
He'll need a Golbat or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Fighting Stadium.
And assuming it wakes up, of course. If it doesn't wake up, that could just be huge and swing momentum right back into Mia's favor.
Yeah, for sure.
Weakness policy on Dustnor, not really doing a whole lot, and no energy on Mia's side. Looks like she's just going to go ahead and have to pass the turn. Play a Versus Seeker. Get back the Sycamore.
Yeah, this is pretty rough for Mia, especially considering she plays all of those consistency cards.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough to just not hit the remaining 3 DCs in your deck to really go off here, but that random receiver top deck was pretty lucky, so she can't complain. She's trying to get back into this game. Passing the turn back. This flip should be pretty big. And Tim is also out of item lock now. And the
nice.
look up, that's going to be big. It looks like he'll be able to, if he can get a Golbat and a Lysander, he'll just knock out that Seismitoad. He can also just knock out the Keldeo with a Golbat. Or the Fighting Stadium.
Yep.
There's Lucario on the bench.
Choices here.
A lot of outs, but I'm not sure what's in his hand. Looks like he has Professor Juniper. Looks like he's debating between 2 cards. Looks like an AZ and a Juniper, but if he has the AZ, I would just... Interesting. So Tim taking a considerable amount of time trying to determine what to do. Picks up the AZ, or picks up the Lucario with the AZ.
I don't know if I agree with that.
It's hard to say. The AZ play is definitely the more conservative one.
I guess it is actually fairly difficult to take those last 2 prizes with scoop ups and all that nonsense. So.
Yeah, totally. And
it leaves you vulnerable to an M.
I mean, in this way, he gets to attack with the Hawlucha, undo the work that Mia's done, and have a fresh Lucario. Definitely the more conservative line, but not necessarily the wrong one. And there's the Jinx. Yeah, moving the damage counter over as to leave it on board after this. Hawlucha gets knocked out. The only other thing about the AZ play, though, is that, so say Tim AZs the Crobat backup and does do the play that we were talking about, knocks out the Keldeo. The problem now is that, like, he would have gotten his Lucario knocked out, but then been able to respond with Hawlucha.
Yeah.
And now he did it the other way. And I don't know if he has energy in his hand, but now he did it the other way where he has to rebuild his Lucario. So I'm not sure. It's definitely a debate.
Yeah, and since that.
And of course, there's a chance before too that he doesn't actually get knocked out. Like
Yeah.
Mia didn't have the DC
Yeah,
next
exactly.
turn.
That's the biggest thing, I think, is that Lucario probably wouldn't have been knocked out.
So he's determining where to spread, or where to put 3, puts on the active. There's a Juniper. Let's have another Hawlucha though, which will be big, especially with the Fighting Stadium. I think you're fine attacking with the Hawlucha. You can do 80 with the Fighting Stadium, and then the only way that Mia can respond is Laser Verbank for the knockout. And like even just is only taking 1 prize, so I think you're fine there, which is ultimately what Tim decides to do.
That Jinx is just such a pain.
Yeah, Jinx is not a fun card to play against. There's a random receiver. We'll hit a Sycamore. Mia's still definitely in this game. Looks like Mia was considering firing off a Lysander's trump card, but is going to go ahead and inspect the contents of Tim's discard pile first. And make sure there's nothing too spicy she's putting back. Well, I thought Mia shuffled her hand in for a second.
I should be able to get those Burbanks and lasers more reasonably.
And she just had the roller skates in hand, and that's kind of what she's hoping. Maybe it's just that, like, maybe I'm just very dumb, but I could definitely see myself shuffling my hand in.
Oh, yeah.
Off of the Lysander's trump card, like you're just picking up everything,
Yeah.
you know, I could definitely see that happening. I don't think I probably played that card in real life 2 or 3 times and not done it, so. It's a good thing. She hasn't done Jinx yet, right?
Right. Alright.
Choosing to heal the heal instead.
Yeah, Jinx not too consequential on the Seismitoad there, so.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. Pretty big call risk.
Yeah, callers for 8. You can callers for 16 soon enough. Turn 1, 240. There are 8 cards here, and I think that Tim's just kind of looking for a way to stabilize, probably looking for like fighting energy on the Lucario. Muscle Band for next turn would be fine as well.
Maybe another Zubat.
Yeah, another Zubat would be fine. Also, like, it's really a big deal after this turn if Mia can respond with another Seismitoad. Because if not, he'd like to draw the Super Scoop Ups and kind of just be able to get things going once again. But I think he certainly wants an energy. That's the biggest deal right now, and it looks like he's hit one. So I guess a strong energy, and it's going to take the knockout now. Go into 2 prizes. Ultra Ball from Mia. Imagine that I'll go ahead and get a Seismitoad. Probably looking through a deck to see how many DCEs are left, things like that. She's gonna need to.
Does Mia play N at all?
No, I don't think so. Most of these decks just play Juniper because they want to hit it off of the random receiver, which is one of the dangers of this deck. Like you are all in. Like that's the best name for it, I think.
Yeah, N would definitely be great here. It allows for the comeback potential.
Yeah, there's just lots of times where you just need rock cards in this deck. No DCE, but Laser Verbank, so that'll take care of the Lucha at least. Pretty big flip there. Super Scoop Up. Oh.
Yikes.
Pretty poor flips for Mia there. It's 3 tails in a row. I think maybe you retreat to Jinx here.
Yeah.
I mean, you do open yourself up to bats damage on the Keldeo rather than just being straight up knocked out. But maybe that's fine. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I guess you have to.
Yeah.
But
you may as well.
Yeah, like
I think.
Tim doesn't have the knockout. Sorry, I momentarily forgot that Tim had 2 prizes left. He doesn't have the knockout right now. But all it would take was a strong energy. Because 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I might consider sending up one of the Toads. I think sending up Jinx is fine.
I think it's just nice because it has a floatstone on it, and if worse comes to worse, it's just a non-EX. Tim can also kind of play the non-EX game and attach to the Crobat.
Yeah.
And do 30 to the Keldeo. Unfortunately, that is 3 turns of doing that, so I don't think that's really possible.
I think that's fine. Like, both Croats have no damage on them.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to knock them out in time.
Mia does run Super Scoop Up, though.
That's true.
So it might just be not worth it. Kind of depends, I guess, on how many she's played. I think she's played 2 since the Lysander's Trump card reset. Oh, there's a Lysander. Yeah, that's the knockout. Okay. So Tim's going to tie things up, and we're going to go to game 3. As always, On the Bubble is brought to you by Top Cut Central. Check out topcutcentral.com for all your singles, sealed product, and accessories needs. Go ahead and go to topcutcentral.com if you need some Shaman EXs, some Rayquazas, Skyfields, any of that sort of stuff, and use the coupon code BUBBLE to save 10% off your order. What do you think about the new set? You think it's good for the game? Interesting?
I don't know. I'm sure people will complain about Shaman.
It's very good. But I mean, it's a card that everyone has access to. You know, it's just an ability.
It'll be interesting to see how Rayquaza works out. I think that's gonna.
Traditionally, the most hyped cards never actually work. However, I think Rayquaza is actually really good. I think the Dragon Rayquaza is good as well. I think it has a lot of support behind it. You have Reshiram, all that sort of stuff.
I don't really know what else was being looked at in that set.
Some people like the Latios EX. It can donk. It can do 90 on turn 1 going first.
Okay.
It has the ability, or has the attack clause, lets it attack on the first turn. Rayquaza, the dragon one, is getting a little hype. I think it's really good, but I don't think everyone quite agrees. Colorless Rayquaza, of course. Shaman is basically just going into every deck.
Yeah.
As far as more rogue stuff, like Togekiss is being talked about, but just a stage 2, you know?
Yeah.
Doesn't really.
Not likely.
Yeah, it doesn't really work out. Almost there, though. I really do think it's almost there. Especially when you have accelerations like Wally and Togekiss lets you evolve on the first turn.
For sure.
But yeah, not a whole lot of great cards. There are some really interesting ones. Like there's a Butterfree that's a safeguarder with free retreat. Of course, it's a stage 2 as well, so it makes it sort of difficult. And Mia getting a pretty good start. Missing the flip, but has a Sycamore to back it up. Nothing else going on. She can drop the second Seismitoad. She can float stone the Jinx, but after that, I think she's going to have to ship the turn back.
Yep.
Gets the DC in the Verbank, though. The laser would have put a lot of pressure on Tim. That would have just been huge, but you can't have it all. Tim's going to go ahead and draw an Ultra Ball for his turn.
And it looks like he doesn't have a fighting energy.
I'm not seeing an energy. He does have a Colress, but that would just be for 3. So there's an Ultra Ball. So a lot of the newer players may remember that you used to be able to attack on turn 1. So Mia just could have actually gotten a game win there with the laser or a muscle band. Obviously the cards are designed a little differently, but turn 1 wins did happen.
Back in the Garchomp days.
Yeah, there were a lot of opening hand dependent games back then.
Yep.
I remember Chase Maloney and I were having a conversation the other day, and he said that, he basically equated Luxchomp to a very skill-based format, and I just don't really agree. I think that it was certainly more skill-based in some formats, but opening hands mattered so much, especially in SP mirrors. And
yeah, I would consider like Gardevoir the more skill-based version.
Sure.
But SP format, like I do think SP was skill-based, especially when things got more refined and like lists became quote-unquote perfect.
Right.
But yeah, you were like really heavily DCE dependent and opening hand dependent and just things like that.
I think it's just one of those things where you look back on it on a format with more fondness than otherwise. I remember I was having a conversation with Puka, and he has a bunch of old decks, just like literally dozens and dozens, and I was like, are you going to keep the cards for this format? And he was like, no, I'll probably just rebuild them in like 4 or 5 years. That's usually when you want to play the old formats.
Yeah, you just get sick of the one you're playing currently.
Yeah, exactly. I just think, it goes on for too long. I'm going to guess by body language that Jacob Van Wagner lost his last round. So he's going to move to 5-2 and need a win here.
If he'd listened to his parents, he would just ID to get his Worlds invite.
Yeah, he's really concerned with top 8ing. I would just be happy to punch my ticket to Worlds, but I mean, what can you say? I cannot imagine how brutal it would be to miss at 9 points off. Like, you just go to an LC and have 2 bad hands, go to Nats and just barely miss.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
He's also had such a good year. It's just even more sad.
Well, it's the same exact thing as last year, where he's just like crushed regionals, done okay at all the other events, with just not being able to go to cities.
Yeah.
Like if he just literally, he would have his invite if he like top 16 to big cities. You know what I mean? 1-1. St. Nelson 5-1-1 needs a win. next round to lock up his top 8.
Totally spaced out on this game, but apparently this Lucario is doing a bunch of damage.
Yeah, Lucario's getting in. Mia misses another flip, and Mia actually has been pretty unlucky on flips this game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when you play a flippy deck, but...
Yeah. The first game she got some good ones, but after that...
Yeah.
Not so much.
It's been rough. And falling to... Man, you know, whoever loses this match, going to 5-2 in this spot is so bad, because you're in the spot where you desperately need a win to maybe top 8. And it's just like...
Stress.
Yeah, like if you lose, you're going to get like probably minimum prizing, and if you win, then you have a sweat to maybe make it. It's just very, very rough. It's a heads on the laser. That could be big if Lucario stays asleep.
And a super scoop up from Mia's side would be really great here.
Yeah, totally. Just especially if the Lucario stays asleep and he just swings back. And it's watching this format is just I don't think the format's bad. I think it's fun. I think it has a lot of interesting cards, but it definitely is swingy. Like turn to turn, the games are just swinging in favor. Ultra Ball gets a Jinx.
And with that second Jinx, it can actually tank another attack fairly reasonably, so super scoop up gets even more value.
No.
Gets the heads.
Lucario wakes up. Still a little bit away from knocking out.
Yeah.
Just needs a fighting stadium now.
Or he needs 40 more. So, and Golbat too.
There's a muscle band on the Zubat.
He does have the Golbat. I don't think he has 20 more though.
No, he has it because Corkscrew Master is 60.
So it's
and then
it's
I just
doing
100
total, and then 20 from the Golbat, so it's only 170.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So he will need in combination of Stadium, Golbat, but I don't think he has it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
I've already
doesn't.
played it. That's the frustrating part. Is that it's just like this all could just be undone with a coin flip from Mia. Team drawing up to 6. Jinx and a Sycamore. So Mia's really looking for a super scoop up here is going to be probably her ultimate wish. She also would like a laser just to put that Lucario to sleep potentially. Those are roller skates. Maybe the first one she's hit this game.
Yeah, I think it is.
Megaphone, going to get some value. And there's the laser, but...
Yeah, her hand's not too exciting. Lots of Ultra Balls. I think there's like a random receiver. She's only off by 10 to KO that Lucario, which is rough.
Yeah, both these actives, I think, with 180. So that's the thing with the Crobat too. The Golbats and the Crobats are so nice because, you know, we saw that Tim saw that he was off, so we just put the damage somewhere else, and just it's so nice to be able to place it wherever you'd like.
Yeah. KOing with Holucha here would be really nice, and the AZ.
Oh, and there's the AZ.
Okay.
Has to discard this energy, but was only one of the special strong energies, so not a huge deal. There's a Holucha. So yeah, so this now Mia definitely, it's been a long game with no prizes taken, but at this point Mia needs to react here. She's facing down a non-EX Pokemon who can deal some damage. The damage that doesn't knock it out, that doesn't knock her Pokemon out, is mitigated by the Jinx. So not the biggest threat, but Tim, the longer that Tim can sit back on this Holucha, the more and more advantage he's going to get.
Yep, he'll be able to rebuild that Lucario basically for free.
Yeah, he even has 2 more turns. It's going to be difficult. Heads in the Holucha is important.
It is possible to one-hit the Holucha. She needs Muscle Band and DCE.
Yeah, which is not a lot to ask for.
Right.
And this is one of those spots too, just to give a picture of how things are going to change, is that Mia has 3 cards in hand as Ultra Balling. She could just get a Shaman in the future and just draw 3 before Sycamoring, and then likely Sycamore into another one. So versus Seeker. Getting the Sycamore. Two roller skates. So we're going to see a potential 6 cards drawn.
Alright.
Acrobike card selection is going through the entire deck.
Oh, discards a Muscle Band there.
Took another Acrobike.
Oh, okay.
Discarded Computer Search, though, just like sign you have it all.
Maximum feel bad.
Definitely. Although no Muscle Band, but it's possible that there's just no Muscle Bands left.
Yeah.
Or that there's less than 3 cards in her deck.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to draw them all off the skates. And staying asleep here means that the Holucha is going to get knocked out going into Mia's turn, assuming no AZ or anything like that. Which will be big. Luckily, it's not as huge as in a lot of matchups because Tim can just send up the Zubat.
Yeah.
It will be the second prize taken, so evening out Mia's prizes, but I think that's a better line than just sending up the Lucario to get hit for a bunch of damage, potentially be put to sleep. It's also possible to send up the Golbat and sacrifice your Crobat next turn potentially, but just make Mia have the Muscle Band and Laser. And Fighting Stadium bumps the Verbank. I don't think there's any other possible play. It's going to have to pass the turn. Chooses the Zubat, but I may have just gone for the Golbat there. I'm not sure how important the powers are going to be, or even the Crobat attack is going to be. And it is relatively hard. Mia will have to get Laser and Verbank and the Muscle Band, which he just attached. But Dusknoir. And I do wonder how useful the Dusknoir actually is. We've seen it be like medium useful in these games. Like provide her advantages that she otherwise wouldn't have had, but that aren't entirely useful.
Right.
And I think just because, like, this isn't a dedicated Dusknoir deck, like, you're getting Dusknoir out on turn 10 or whatever, I'm not sure that it's actually that relevant. Like I said, Mia does play pretty thin lines, so I'm sure it's taking up very few card slots, but still, I do wonder how much it actually matters. Chase Maloney is 7-0. Going for the number 1 seed. And then a super scoop up from Mia.
That's a really timely scoop up.
Yeah, pretty big play here. Heads on the laser. She's gotten heads on like all these lasers too this game. She heads on the roller skates. Alright, I think that turn makes up for all the bad luck in the earlier turns. Now we're going to go ahead and... That 60 isn't on the Lucario, right? That was a flip? Okay, yeah. So I'm going to go to 60.
And Lucario actually able to one-shot the Toad fairly easily next turn if he wakes up.
Ooh, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's going to have one more turn, though. I guess we'll go to 70 after this, and then up to 120 or 150 if a Verbank is in play. So missing that Verbank this turn was huge. And we actually, this is our maybe the first match that goes to time. It is.
Yeah.
We are getting pretty deep into the tournament.
All those scoop ups and AZs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like there was multiple turns. I think it was, I don't know, the benches were full and things were happening before there's any prizes taken.
Yeah.
Receiver hits a Sycamore. So confirmation that Jacob lost, moving to 5-2. And desperately needing a win for his invite. 7 off a Sycamore. Roller skates. Another heads eye. So Amia is officially lucky instead of unlucky now. Well, I did the numbers. I'm pretty sure that counts. Can you believe there is a time people play Dowsing Machine over computer search?
I never understood it.
I think
people would like get upset with me when I told them I thought computer search was better.
I mean, I think there probably were times where it was better, or it's just insane to me. I mean, I also have ran Gold Potion over computer search, to be fair.
Well, it was weird because it was like a widespread, commonly accepted school of thought, like that Dowsing Machine was better. And for a while, too. Tails. It wasn't even like one tournament series or anything.
No, it was a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is going to sound silly, but I think that Gold Potion is actually more legitimate than Dowsing Machine a lot of the time.
It does a different thing.
Yeah, like it's not just trying to gain cards. Like
right.
Gold Potion, I played it when we were playing Big Basics Mirrors, and it was just like skip their turn, literally, just like undo everything you did. But it's interesting too now that we see things like Scoop Up Cyclone and things like that are inherently not very powerful, but just because of the format they're in, are played over things like computer search. And I think that's a good general rule too if you're newer to the game, is that I pretty firmly believe that all things being equal, especially when you're just starting out and don't know the format, the most powerful thing you can be doing is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Like computer search, literally searching your deck for any card is just so much more powerful on its surface than Scoop Up Cyclone, that if you just play computer search on all your decks and didn't think about it, you'd be right in a higher percentage of the time than if you thought about it a lot, I think, if you're inexperienced. And yeah, now Mia has firm control of this game. Yeah, he's asleep. Yeah.
I feel so bad.
He's even asleep going into Mia's turn, which doesn't matter, but it's just adding insult to injury. And wow, that's All right, Mia.
Yeah, and actually the Dusknoir is relevant as well. Okay.
Well, Tim's gonna
Just
go ahead and
hands.
concede. Okay, I guess they're just shaking hands for the fun of it. So she can. 80 damage is gonna happen here. Yeah. So, well, can you imagine if he stayed asleep this turn?
I'm so sad.
All right. So let's see what happens. I think at this point I'd like to see Mia get another Seismitoad here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just set up for something really bad happens. Like, I think she is in firm control of this game, but
It's still possible for that Lucario to knock out the Seismitoad, so.
yeah, definitely things could definitely go wrong. Actually, is it possible?
He'd have to get like a fighting stadium
Oh,
and
yeah,
a muscle
okay.
band.
Well, I guess actually he could.
And a Crobat, I think, as well.
He could get like strong energy because he can't play muscle band, so he could get strong energy,
right.
go 160, and then just play the fighting stadium.
Yeah.
All right, this is the big flip. All right, that's a head. So after the game being at parity / Timmy being a little bit ahead, those 3 sleep flips in a row threw him off, and now he's back, but it's still a game, but he is definitely in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm not sure why you don't acrobite first, but.
She can't. It's under
Oh,
lock.
let's see how many times I do that.
Man, I'm sure you'd love to.
No.
Fighting stadium.
Just needs
Do you have a strong?
energy. Or a fighting and a Crobat. It doesn't look like it.
He has a Golbat.
Not quite. Ooh.
Just gonna go ahead and retreat to the Golbat, or select the Crobat. Oh wait, does this actually work? 170. Okay, yeah, I guess it's fine because he's not taking any more damage from the poison. Being retreated and all. And then there's the knockout. So, I think he was done either way. He didn't have a response. And Mia's 6-1, so assuming she can get a draw next round, she will be locked for our top 8. Already has her invite, not going to nationals, just playing for the prizes, maybe trying to sneak into the. I don't know what she's at, but maybe trying to be in the top 16 or top 32 for Worlds. So, one more round before the top 8.